Whoa, bruh. What just happened? What just happened? Myles Garrett is getting traded to this out of all teams in the NFL. The Los Angeles Rams, a team that's already loaded, just added another bona fide star to that football team. Myles Garrett is getting traded to the Los Angeles Rams for Jared Verse, a 2027 first-round pick, and at the time of me recording this, other draft pick compensation is still being discussed. What in the hell? The Browns have been adamant on not trading Myles Garrett. This just changes everything in the NFL. The Rams have just even propelled themselves even more to win the Super Bowl this season. And anybody that picks them at this point will be not argued against. It'll be a hard thing to argue against, picking the Rams to win the Super Bowl after this type of trade. Wow, bruh. Who would have seen this coming? You're talking about a Rams defense that added Jaylen Watson this offseason, that added Trent McDuffie. Yes, you do get off Jared Verse, who was a young and up-and-coming football player. But, man, then you get Myles Garrett, who just broke the single-season sack record last year, onto this Rams football team. And to pair with that offense that already has the reigning league MVP in Stafford, Kyren Williams, Blake Corum running the ball, Puka Nacua, Davante Adams with a solid offensive line. Yeah, bruh. The Rams are the absolute Super Bowl favorites at this point, and there's no way you can argue against it. We were talking about them drafting Ty Simpson and this football team kind of reversing a little bit of a pivot from what they've usually done. Instead of addressing maybe some wide receiver help to get another wide receiver 3 to pair with Nacua and Adams, or maybe some offensive line help, maybe. That just, we can circle back that thought. They're back going all the way in on a Super Bowl championship with the acquisition of Myles Garrett. 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year. This Rams football team is about to be stacked and loaded. And me being a Bears fan, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm so glad we don't play the Rams this upcoming season. I was already fearful of the Rams a little bit in the playoffs, which we almost had that game, but I don't want to talk about. But this Rams team has to be the most scariest football team in recent memory. This is kind of going back into the 2021 Rams team that ended up winning the Super Bowl when they acquired Von Miller in. They acquired OBJ. They had Cooper Kupp in a breakout year. They went out to acquire Matthew Stafford that offseason. This is going back to that with this football team with the LA Rams. Now, from the Cleveland Browns perspective, you get a lot of draft picks. You get a young edge rusher in Jared Verse. And then on top of that, as the trade is being discussed and things is happening, you get a first-round pick next year and a class that could potentially have a loaded quarterback, which they'll get the Rams pick, so it's definitely going to be in the back half of the draft. And then their own pick, which, if things happen, they can use those picks to move up, to climb the ladder to get the quarterback of their future if a Shedeur Sanders does not work, or whatever they go to, a Watson, a Gabriel, or whatever route they decide to take does not work for them during this season at that quarterback position. You have draft capital to maybe move up, or depending on where your pick is, you can add 2 first-round pick players in 2027. Man, talk about loaded football teams. The Rams are going to be loaded. The Browns take several steps back on that defensive side of the ball. Will they unload Denzel Ward at some point? Who knows? the Browns are a team that kind of needed to be in a rebuild anyway, and Myles Garrett was a talent that you couldn't keep wasting in Cleveland because, let's just face it, this Cleveland Browns team, they were in no chance of aspirations of even winning like consistently this year or competing or contending. So at some point, you were going to have to unload Myles Garrett because at some point he was probably going to get pissed and getting tired of being there. So what some shocking news in the NFL, which we've already had two other moves that happened this particular morning with Odell Beckham going to the New York Giants once again and Russell Wilson finally calling it a career. But this tops it all. And then on top of that, now that we're at June 1st, there is still a possible move to be made for A.J. Brown. So this offseason isn't quite over yet. And this is one of the bigger blockbuster trades that I've probably ever seen. And definitely in my time of covering the NFL on this channel. We had the Khalil Mack trade 2018. We had the Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff trade in 2021 offseason, or the 2020 offseason going into 2021. You had the trade of Russell Wilson, previously spoke of, going to Denver. Then you had the Aaron Rodgers trade that he had traded to the Jets. You had Davante Adams getting traded to from the Packers to the Raiders. Tyreek Hill from the Chiefs to the Dolphins. This tops it all. And then you had the potential Max Crosby trade that ended up getting nixed. But this, two-time Defensive Player of the Year, reigning sack leader, broke the record for sacks on a team that's already stacked, like the Los Angeles Rams are. Yeah, they are beyond the favorite to win the Super Bowl this year. And I haven't potentially made my Super Bowl prediction, but at this point, spoiler alert, it probably will be the Rams. Because with the Rams where they are now and things continue the way they are, there's no way I don't see this team winning the Super Bowl. Yeah, on paper, it's different from on the field product, and things could happen, knock on wood, injuries, things like that. But looking at it on paper, there's no way this Rams team doesn't at least make the NFC Championship game once again. There's no way. With you acquiring Myles Garrett? Wow, bro. I would have never thought I would have been doing a video on this. And maybe a different Myles Garrett trade I could have seen. But the Rams? I think the Rams just broke the league. The Rams just broke the league. This is crazy. Let me know what you guys think. This is crazy. Let me know what you guys think. Peace.